Guys, I'm Chef T-Max. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're gonna have this great vegetarian, or it's actually, I think it's vegan, butternut squash curry. Okay, I'm gonna put some tofu in it, mushrooms. It's gonna be amazing. Stay with me. Click subscribe if you're not doing that. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring that bell, and I'll send you new stuff I have coming up. So I'll see you back in the kitchen in a second. Okay guys, I got a beautiful butternut squash here and we're gonna make a nice curry for this. It could be a side dish, you know, you've got some vegan friends coming over for the holidays and you need something good, that's perfect, okay? So first I'm gonna do is I wanna get my vegetables going in this. So in this, I'm only gonna use a half an onion. So I've got it kind of peeled and sliced in half. And then I'm just gonna slice it straight down. I don't want to dice it, I don't need to dice it. I want in this curry to have different textures, so and different shapes. So we've got the onion, which is going to be kind of julienned like this, has these strips of onion, and then we'll have the mushrooms, which will kind of be there like sliced mushroom, and then we'll have the peppers as well in there. In this, I have ginger. Now, ginger is definitely a really great one to put in a curry like this, or like a little stew to give it great flavor. So I've got it, and I sliced it like this, and I'm gonna come back and really mince it. So you can see what that looks like, right? Beautifully minced ginger, right? And I'm gonna put that in there with my onions. I wanna cook them together. And then I'm gonna put some garlic too. I've got 2 garlic cloves, right? And with these, I wanna slice them. Sliced garlic will give me flavor in the oil, and they give me little bites of garlic here and there, but this garlic's gonna be so cooked in here, it's not gonna be sharp at all. So with this, I just wanna slice little thin pieces like this, right? And then I'm gonna put those in my oil here as well to perfume that. 2 nice big fat pieces of garlic. Now I've got peppers here. Now to clean a pepper, you just cut down the top of it like this. You see this? Like this, and I cut all around 4 times, right? Get all 4 sides. And I cut the bottom piece off as well, right? And then sometimes I'll save these little outside shoulder pieces so I don't waste anything, right? Like that. So now what I do is I like to cut this pith out. So you see this white piece here? You want to cut this out, and I'll show you how we do that. We lay it flat, and then we just come like this and cut it out. That's it. So you see you get just a beautiful flesh of the pepper. Whoops, that one I took too much. You see that? Don't do that. Pay attention and take a little less. And I can come back and cut it like that and get some of that off. Because peppers are not cheap. So you're just looking to take that inner rib out, okay? Like that. So I press my knife flat against the pepper, and then I just cruise along, take that inner rib out. Now with this, I'm just gonna dice it in little strips, and then cut the strips in half. So you have like that, okay? And I'll put that in here as well. So let me mix this around a little bit, get it going. Get that ginger, all these beautiful flavors cruising around in here. And then I'll do the rest of this pepper. So with this, let me just cut it like in little julienne. We call this julienne, long thin strips, okay? Like that, okay? This piece too, just julienne it like that. Those pieces can go right in. And then I don't need to cut it super small. Like I said, we want different shapes in this. We want it to have some different textures to it. So that's how we're gonna put the pepper in. So you can see how that looks, right? It looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna come and cut these guys up like this. Put those in here too. And I've got beautiful pepper in there now. Now, why don't we put the pumpkin in first? Because I want these vegetables to saute. The pumpkin doesn't need to saute. These aromatic vegetables need to kind of cook together like this, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our mushrooms as well to that and our pumpkin. Now, with this pumpkin, I'm just gonna take probably like a top piece of this. I don't need the whole thing. So be careful when you're cutting through it like that, you see? Right? I want to take that, and I'm going to take this top piece here and cut that like this. And then I take the knife and I just cut down the sides of it like this, right? You guys can see how that is. It's super easy, right? You're looking to cut all the skin off because the skin is too tough to eat, okay? And we're gonna make a nice dice of these, and then we're gonna put this pumpkin in and cook it in our nice little stew. It's almost like a pumpkin stew, vegan pumpkin stew with coconut and mushroom. So we have all these beautiful aromatic vegetables are going in there, right? And then you can see how that looks beautiful, this squash. Right now it's ready to go. So with this, we just want to slice it into long, thin strips like that. You see what that looks like? And then once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and dice it up a little bit and get our nice dice of pumpkin going. So I want to check my saute here in a second, but let me cut this last piece. You see how that's done? Super simple. Okay, now let's go ahead and stir this up a little bit. Now, what I want to do, I want to put something hot in there. So I have some Thai chili because coconut, you know, this almost like curry feel. I think like a Thai red chili is nice in there. It's going to give us red chili. If you just want to put a jalapeno sliced in there, you could do that too if you don't have red chili paste. I would not use a hot sauce. If you have sambal, I love sambal, you can use that. That would be a nice one to use, but that's it. That's all I would use in it. Okay, now this looks like, you see how this is coming together? That chili now is going to toast in here lightly, right? I'm going to add a little salt to this. So I'm going to add my first little teaspoon of salt. And then I'm not going to put any pepper because I put chili in there. And then I'm going to put my mushrooms, okay? So once I put my mushrooms in there, I'll kind of spread those around in here. I don't want this to kind of overcook. Now, all those vegetables, because they've sweat down and the flavors come out, now I can actually grab a little bit of water. This is just water, and I'm gonna put some water on top of it. And I want that to cook together, okay? We don't want this to be a soup, we want it to be a stew. But now that we're done sauteing, we don't need to really have it sauteing the mushrooms up as much. We're going to let those braise down in this dish. And in addition to that, I'm going to take a little carrot. I've taken some carrot and shredded it here. I have one carrot already shredded, and then I'm going to take this one, the end of it like this, and just show you how I shred that carrot, right? And then that shredded carrot like this just goes in there. All right, let me clean up and then we're going to cut this pumpkin. Okay, I'm going to stir this in. I want to stir my carrot in now. My liquid here is starting to steam, right? We want this carrot and mushroom to cook down. That's going to take us probably about 15 minutes or so to cook down in there. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to take my pumpkin and get it ready to go in here. Now, I take this and I cut this into probably these small strips like this. You can see the size. See the size of that? So the pumpkin isn't going to take an extremely long time to cook. These cook pretty quick. But I want them to cook completely. So I'm going to put them in now, and I don't want them to be al dente. So we'll add those in now. So they'll take about the same time as these mushrooms are going to take to break down anyway. Okay? So all of this pumpkin goes in. Okay, like that. So again, straight down like this. You see these little chunks? They don't all have to be exactly perfect. It's not imperative. They're gonna look great in here anyway. You can see what that looks like. Take a look at that. Right? They look nice and shapely anyway. And that's it. So I'm gonna cut the rest of these. Okay, and I'm gonna add these to this. And we're going to cook this probably for about 15 to 20 minutes. You can keep adding water if it's not enough water in there, right? We're going to actually add just a little bit more water. Now, we add coconut in this, but we don't want to add coconut in the beginning. So, I mean, and I want to just add it in the end because I don't like to break down the sweet, beautiful flavor of the coconut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the rest of this up and put it in here, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and let this cook for about 20 minutes. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, guys, we're back, and I have my curry here. Whoops, let me grab a thing because this is getting hot, right? Whoa, look at that. Looks beautiful, right? So with this, I want to take my curry and I want to add some stuff to it. So I've got the pumpkins getting cooked nicely, right? Everything's cooked pretty good now. So the last things to cook in here are going to be the coconut milk and my tofu, okay? That's going to be our protein. So I'm going to put 1 can of coconut milk in here, right? Like this. You see that? And I'm just going to bring that together ever so gentle. I don't want to make mush of my pumpkin. I want the pumpkin to be nice. And like you can taste the pieces now. They're nice and al dente. So it's done at that time. So at this point, I just want to take my tofu and warm it. I don't want to overcook the tofu. So I take the tofu piece. You can see how I've done this, dude. And I just cut it straight down like this, right? And then I take some pieces and lay them flat like this. And then I come back like that. It's like julienning again, but with tofu, which is a lot simpler to cut because it's so soft, right? Now, if you want to cut fatter pieces, you can do that, or you can cut thinner pieces. This little stew can be any way you want it. I turn it sideways like this, and then I just cut them, and I just drop them in here. Now, there's a lot of porousness to tofu. So when you put it in this stew, it's going to cook together. It's going to absorb a lot of these flavors. So with this, we don't need to cook this for long like the coconut. We're just bringing it together, right? And we're going to cook this for another maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. So with this, what I want to do is move it around so it sits in my broth, because when it sits in the broth, the first thing it's going to do is start letting out the flavor from the tofu into the stew, as well as absorbing all the flavor from this stew. So I'm going to put this lid back on. I'm going to let that do that for a second. And while I do that, I'm going to take some parsley. Now I have some parsley here, you guys can see, right? And I'm just going to cut the root end of that off. And I just want these leaf ends, right? And with this, I'm just going to slice down the parsley. It doesn't need to be tiny, okay? We just don't want a lot of big stems in there, but I have the big stems on the end here. So I just chopped it lightly like this. And this is going to go in right at the end, okay? So let me let this cook for another 2 minutes, and then I'm going to show you how to finish this dish. Okay, guys, here we are. Let that cook for another few minutes. I'm going to take my parsley and just put my parsley right in there like that. Okay, look how beautiful that is. Right, get every little bit of parsley we can in there, all that wonderful flavor. Now the key is the tasting, right? You can see our chunks of pumpkin, our mushrooms have been cooked in this beautifully. All the onions and peppers and aromatics have come together. Our parsley is going to come in there and give us a little freshness. Now, our coconut has given us a creaminess. And you've got this beautiful stew. So this stew, I would say you can make a beautiful basmati rice, or you can make a sticky rice, whatever you want. And you can just put this, or you can just have this as like a nice, like aromatic kind of stew / curry, whatever you want to call it, right? But that's it, it's done. So with this, all I want to do is spoon it up in here like this, okay? And we have our beautiful stew here, okay? It's got that wonderful flavor. Oh, the wonderful flavor of the curry. Perfect amount of salt in there. It's got, you know, the herbalness of the parsley. The tofu is going to kind of give you that kind of nutrition and that velvetiness. It's wonderful. Mushrooms. You guys could feel free to adapt and add other vegetables you like in this. You know, you could put zucchini in this as well, different things, but the pumpkin is the really nice part. This is a great vegan side dish. Now, if you wanted to as well, you could put this, if you're doing this for a party, put this whole thing in a casserole like this, like a glass Pyrex casserole, and then cover it with breadcrumbs before you're ready to go, before you're ready to bake it. Like you're at somebody's house, you bring this and that, you have some breadcrumbs, pour the breadcrumbs on top, bake it in the oven for about 20 minutes just to heat it through, toast the breadcrumbs, and you're gonna have this nice vegan casserole that people are gonna love as a side dish, or a main dish if they're vegan for your holiday parties. So I'll see you back in the kitchen soon. Try this at home. I'm Chef Dean Max.